We'll begin in a seated position and we'll connect to our Ujjayi breath. And again, even our Ujjayi breath is something we might need to modulate as in accord with our environmental air. And feel the shoulders simply relax down away from the ears. Like 2 breaths to feel the ribs moving, expanding toward the horizon. As you're feeling the ribs move to the horizon, take an extra special feeling moment into the upper back, the middle of the back, the middle of the back. We want to encourage breath into the mid back and upper back when we're doing these shoulder moves and poses. We're going to set up a kind of a hybrid pose. It's a hybrid of twisting and kite hawk. So I'm going to suggest from seated, we have the left leg on the ground and we plant the right sole of foot to the earth. So my right knee tented toward the sky, and I want you to hook or turn in a way that you can maintain. I'm going to select kind of this elbow hook around. Take the first 2 breaths just to acclimate into this mild bit of twist. And what I'm wanting from this arm position is to be able to free up my right hand so I'm not dependent on the right hand to hold me up. And then inhaling, we'll reach the right arm out to the side, turning the palm up. And then exhale, and turn the thumb down, the bicep down. Inhaling, and turn the palm up, the bicep up. And I'm reaching out through the fingertips. And then exhaling, the thumb down, the bicep down. We'll do 1 or 2 more. Well, generally, when we would tip our chin down, I'm going to tip it toward my left collarbone. And then we inhale the bicep up. It's going to let the head come up to see horizon. And then one more position, we'll take the right hand behind the back and grab onto your clothing or your thigh. And release. We'll switch sides. The right leg's on the ground. The left leg is tented. And I'm getting a hook or a hold on this left leg such that my left arm can be free. Just first couple of breaths, acclimating. And we'll reach this left arm out to the side. As we inhale, we'll reach out, turning the bicep up. And then exhaling, turning the bicep down. If you want to tip the chin, you can tip it toward your right collarbone. Exhaling. As we rotate the arm, we'll reach behind, grab onto some clothing. And release. When we inhale to unwind, we'll sit in a mild straddle position. I say mild just because we want the groin to kind of warm and gradually open. We don't need to overly stretch it. We're going to work rounds of Uddiyana in seated straddle. So when you're ready, exhale everything out. Stay empty. Reaching out through the legs. Draw the belly in and back. And up. We'll work another round. Get a few deep breaths. And third round, final round. So we're trying to use the Uddiyana just to start to draw on, to move the structure around the pubic bone and the groin and the lymph nodes in the groin. And then when you release that, just resume your Ujjayi breath. We help our legs together. We'll work this lying down move. I want to show it to you with the blocks. If you have two, great. If you have one, that's fine. So I'm going to use my wall. And one sec here. And the point of the blocks is to support the sacrum. So right there. I'm going to introduce a little lunge or a teeny weeny little back bend. And the way I like to use these blocks is touch the wall, then bridge, and then adjust. Okay. So I can touch the wall a little bit with my foot. I'm going to stretch both legs out. So there's this teeny little back bend. And if that's fine, you want to reach the arms overhead, we can reach the arms overhead. So it's like a micro bridge, a symmetric lunge moment. So I'll give you a moment to find a spot. And under these conditions of this micro bridge or this micro back bend, we're just going to get several deep Ujjayi breaths going. And using the low belly muscles and all the musculature of exhaling to help gather the ribs down. Now I love the pose bridge, but there's something just very nice about having moments to breathe in a shape, any supported shape of back bend. Okay. And just like bridge, I'm going to draw, bend right knee. Inhale, draw that knee toward my chest, and then exhale, raise the right leg. So my left leg is still straight along the heel on ground. I'm touching the wall just as a measure of what's happening inside my body. And I've got both arms raised overhead, which are on the ground. Back of head is on the ground. And just taking deep breaths into the ribs. So we may not give ourselves the moments to support a little bit of back bend. Okay, inhaling, we'll bend the right knee, we'll set the right foot down. We'll switch sides, so bend left knee, Straighten right leg. And then inhale, we'll draw that left knee toward the chest. And then exhaling, raise the left leg toward the sky. Just like we would bridge. Except we're resting more completely on the blocks and the legs are straight. And I am stretching my arms to straighten them. I am stretching my arms to kind of get into the ribs and the abdominal tissue. And inhale, we'll set that left foot down. Bend both knees. And we'll move directly into bridge from here. Exhaling, we'll shift the tailbone away from the blocks. And if you want to reposition the blocks so that you're still being supported, go right ahead. We'll press away from those blocks and lower all the way down to the ground. All right. When we press up, we're going to take some chest opener at the wall in the shape of warrior stance. I'm setting a warrior one up. My right foot is forward. My right hand is back, shoulder height. And just concentrating on the felt sense of release through the front side of the chest and the shoulder. We'll switch sides. We'll release. Let's set up dolphin. And draw the shoulders down. Exhale the knees off the ground. Really just letting the breath do the work, meaning we'll get ourselves into a position to help us get some access into areas, and allowing our mind, which we often experience as concentration or the ability to follow or feel in the body, and just letting that mellow in and watch and notice and feel the changes. And then we'll set the knees down and release. So I'm getting a chair out. You don't need a chair. But a surface, we're going to just kind of pick up a few things that we were doing yesterday in our back bends. I just happen to have a chair here, so I'll use it. You could use a couch, you could use an ottoman, you could use a countertop. So if you had like a countertop height, actually those are 30-some inches, those would work out just fine. And the other thing we'll consider is just if you need some cushion, get some cushion. So I'm not trying to just put my elbows on the surface, but my triceps. And here I have to make a little bit of an adjustment with my knees. And by clasping hands, getting those triceps on the surface. Raising the hands up just like we would, say, like dolphin prelude. Let's reach the elbows kind of toward what's above the head. And with this version, you can afford to let the belly relax a little bit more. You have a lot more control over where the weight goes in the spine and the shoulder tissues. We were doing a bunch yesterday to get into the tricep part of the shoulder. We're doing those chest openers on the wall, those inversion type chest opener. And just letting one or two more breaths roam really large in the upper back and the chest wall. If you didn't have a chair, it could be done on the wall. The wall can You just have to be a little more active with the wall and the chair. You can be a little more relaxed, be strategically relaxed, and we'll release out of there. All right. So this chair out of the way, we'll stand at the top of mat. Hopefully we're starting to get a little more breath and movement around the chest and the lung and shoulder area. Inhale, reaching arms up overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, let's start with the right foot. We'll step the right foot back, lunge, just set the knee down. Hands to ground. When we exhale, stepping the left foot back. Actively move the shoulders away from the head. Pull them down as the torso descends. Cobra. Inhale. And exhale, lower downward dog. I'll give downward dog a couple more breaths. Inhale the right foot forward, lunge. Hands to ground, exhale, step the left foot forward, fold. Inhale, stand, reach arms overhead. Exhaling, hands to heart. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, fold. Lunge, left foot this time. Inhale the left foot back. Remain right here for 2 additional breaths. Lower the hands, interlace the hands behind the back. So chest opener and lunge, inhale. Growing and moving the breath into the collar, chest. Exhale, softly reaching the knuckles toward the left heel. As we release, inhale the hands under the shoulders. Exhale, we'll step the right foot back, chaturanga. Cobra, inhale. Exhale, downward dog. Get that 2 pose. Lunge, inhale, stepping the left foot forward. this a couple breath moments. So we can just be pondering, and breath is a very pliable, playable thing. How do I breathe in ways that open the body up? So circulation can occur, these transactions of new life and blood and cellular fluids can rinse and wash and open and awaken the body. And here's that chest opening move. Interlace the hands behind the back. And release. Inhale, hands to the ground, curl the back toes under. Exhale, press the right foot forward, fold. Inhale, stand, reach arms overhead. Exhaling, hands to heart. All right, so we're going to pause right here, and I'm going to suggest that you can find a soft or a softening surface, like a towel, like a blanket, like a pillow. I have several options here. You might have like a soft pillow. We're going to create just another iteration of a slight back bending move. So I'm going to set up both my blocks and my soft surface. If I only had blocks, I might put one going long in accord with my spine and just soften that up. Okay. So while seated, so I can always move my legs later, I want to create a soft drape of my upper back over that slight bit of elevation. Now, I do want your head and neck to feel well enough to release and relax. So you might use your hands, you might use some more props that are around you, pillow, blanket, block. I'm just going to use my hands for now. And I am trying to walk this this curve, this draping back into the upper part of torso. And you might have enough soft prop where you can actually relax the head back and it feels fine. So you'll have to play around with the tools that you have. The next thing I've done is straighten the legs out along the ground. So again, you're going to hold and lengthen the head, neck back. You can prop it up. We've got a lot of options here. But for our purposes today, if I would just let the breath do the work. Because we did back bends yesterday, sometimes it just feels nice to continue doing them, but in a much softer or different approach way. So the way we did them yesterday was fairly engaging or had a high intensity value to it. Okay, because we worked wheel and back bends, it feels pretty good to adjust the reach of the hands and the arms. The nice thing about a very soft tool like a deflated beach ball or a blanket is that there's no impediment to breathing into the upper back. to show you one more thing. I'm going to support the head as I just kind of slither up a little bit. I'm going to re-enter that kind of soft upper back bend, but I want to show it to you with hands on the wall. Because when I can get my hands to the wall and I can start to press or bend the elbows and push, I'm starting to get all the mechanics of wheel. So even if I can't get my body up into wheel, I've got helper ways. So exact same move, I'm just turning my prop so I can reach back for the wall. And I'm getting my hands to touch the wall. Okay. I'm going to bend my knees, feet on the ground. And I have no intention of lifting myself off the props, but with my head relaxed, with my chest kind of biased, opening toward the sky, I can at least start to press my hands into the wall, wrapping the shoulders, guiding the elbows toward the sky. And I can take some incredible, great deep breaths into the shoulders and the upper back with my arms engaged. And I think that's a really important tool to have in our medicine bag. So I'm going to hang out for maybe 6 to 10 breaths. And if I should turn profile so that you can see this profile, I'll do that. I'm just going to let us go for a bit. I need to do a little adjustment. So it's wheel, but it's a very soft approach way. And this is a really nice a nice way to get the shoulders and the upper back familiar with those expansive wheel bridge breaths. And just like any other back bend arm work that we do, relax the head and the neck. And just keep a light amount of pressure and breath constant. We're going to stay with it, so I'm just trying to find that right amount of effort that we can endure, and we can get really steady in. And when you need to dismount, just relax the arms. Just kind of assist the head up. The way I like to come off of this low rise prop is just kind of prop over onto my arm. Take a few deep breaths. That feels like a really nice mild wheel. I hope that feels good in your lungs and your shoulders and this whole sternal, clavicle, neck area, breast area, armpit area. So important to get washes of breath, great accessible stretches to move that lymph, to move the lungs. All right, let's lie backward and do some abdominals and just warm it down and put a bow on it, as they say. Okay. So when we do abdominals post back bend, the spine is kind of moving in another direction, kind of the away from back bend. Inhale. When I lift the head and the shoulder blades up, it's just a tiny amount. And that tiny amount is just to help release the back of the neck and the back of the head. And then I can shift. It's almost like a little rock of the pelvis, sacrum. I feel the tailbone rock up toward the sun. And then exhale, raise the left leg, go straight up. Exhale everything out, pull the low belly down. Resting the head and the hands. Inhale, bend the left knee. A little rock of the sacrum. Exhale, raise the right leg to the sky. Pull the low belly down. We'll do 2 more on each side. So you'll notice that with every inhale and exhale, there's a little bit of letting the head down. There's a little bit of letting the pelvis rock. And then as we exhale, there's a little rock. Exhale. So notice in the breath itself, the spine is just subtly flexing, very, very subtle, and releasing and flexing and releasing. It's not an all-out forward fold, but those movements do matter to the spine and the spine fluid. And then when we inhale, let the head down. And cross the right ankle over the left thigh. I like to set the head down so that when I now grab my thigh or my shin, my head doesn't move or tip or shift. I'm just going to grab what I can grab, letting the head rest. And we'll release, switch sides. You might even be able to feel a little throb or the pulse of the spinal fluid as you're getting into the hip stretch. So drawing all that connective tissue around the sacrum. Sometimes you can feel that reflect into the skull and the fluids around going in and from the skull. And release. All right. And we'll set up for Shavasana. Hopefully you're really close. All right, let's bend knees. We'll turn to a side and press up. Namaste.